Hello, hello. All right. So this morning we have the keys to success in direct sales. And so let me see, got to get this up and started here. Hope you guys enjoy my music as we get started. Um, I am somebody who is motivated, inspired by music. That's how I get my affirmations is through music. So I have my power playlist, and the songs you guys were just hearing are actually from my power playlist. If you guys ever want a copy of that, if you have Amazon Music, I can text you the list. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you have access to my list. I can just send it to you. It's totally free, and you'll have access to all the music that gets me pumped up and feeling good about myself and ready to go take on the world each and every day. So, and I'm always adding to it. Always, always, always. And every time I add to it, you guys get access to those new songs as well. So today we are covering keys to direct sales success. Um, this one is well, you guys saw how passionate I got with last week. Last week is really my like truly favorite training to do, my favorite webinar to do. This one is probably a very close second though. um, I think everyone who's on has been on for all the previous weeks. So week 1 is sales is not a 4-letter word. Week 2 is earn the trip, get the promotion. And week 3 is the keys to direct sales success. If you missed any of those weeks, please reach out to me and I can probably send you a recording, but I'm just going to let you guys know that, that I do this webinar series every other month for people. So I've got, so this is August. So I will do this again in October because I do have the masterclass happening in September. So I think everybody here knows me, but just in case, I've been in direct sales and direct sales coaching since 2000. Well, I started in direct sales in 2010, started direct sales coaching in 2011. During my 7 years in direct sales, I earned 9 trips, multiple car bonuses, cash bonuses, jewelry prizes, and was internationally ranked #1 and #3 in group recruiting and group sales, respectively. My coaching practice now involves private coaching, small group coaching, and large group coaching. And my clients enjoy doubling or tripling their paychecks in 90 days or less. And in fact, I've got 2 or 3 clients that I can think of off the top of my head who have quadrupled their paycheck since working with me. And a couple of them are not ones who were like, oh, I was only making $100 and now I'm making $400. They were people who were already making hundreds, if not thousands, every single month in their commission, and they've quadrupled. So it's pretty significant when you've got someone helping hold you accountable. I've been doing workshop training since 2004. Right now, this shows up as team trainings or these webinars, as you guys see. I have literally trained and educated thousands of people and been doing public speaking since 1992. If you want access to me, if we're not already Facebook friends, if you're not already a client, you can go ahead and text Jennie, Jennie, to 64600, or go to easycard.com/Jennie on your phone browser, and that will give you access to my digital business card. So that way you can go to my website, you can email me, text me, call me, Facebook friend me. I think Facebook is one of the connection points on there. And there's also some additional information because it's a digital business card. So I can put all kinds of information on there, which reminds me, I should probably put the details for Brunch and Learn series on there. Huh, okay, I'll do it. So, um, each and every week for this Brunch and Learn series, I do have a gift for you. So make sure you stay tuned all the way until the end. This one is my biggest giveaway, though, of all 3 weeks. This one is huge. It has the highest value, and it is going to pay you back, not just in business, but in your personal life each and every day, which is it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And you'll find out why in a little bit. So get your notebook out, have your pen ready, because it's time to start taking notes. So I have for you today the 4+1 keys to direct sales success. The reason I have this this image up here of trying to keep it secret is because I want to let you guys know, first of all, the plus one, but you'll find that out at the end of the presentation. That's kind of a secret. Secondly, you guys are getting a preview of the book that I am writing and will be coming out later this year, and I would love your feedback on what you learned today. So please feel free to reach out and let me know what your big takeaways are. If there's something that didn't really hit you quite right, please let me know, because that's going to help me as I continue to write this out. Now, obviously, because it's going to be a book, you guys are getting the abbreviated preview version of this. So the 4 keys to success are business, discipline, sales, and mentoring. So, as you guys know, my podcast is called Badass Direct Sales Mastery. And in the book, each section is going to be broken down into the B, the D, the S, and the M: the business, the discipline, the sales, and the mentoring. And we're going to cover those four initial keys to direct sales success today. So each one of these is also broken down into 4 areas. We'll be talking about the belief. We'll be talking about the desire for those. We'll be talking about the story. You'll hear a story in each of these sections. And then we'll talking about monetizing and manifesting each of these things into your life and your business. So we're going to start with business. So first of all, I'm going to start with the story on this one because there is a gal who I've worked with. She is with a skincare company. And in fact, her story is on my podcast. If you go listen to the episode with Stacy Luter, she had a major shift in her business when she actually had her beliefs challenged. So she had started her business. She was about, I think she said 18 months to 2 years into her business at that point, and was talking to her upline. And she was letting her know that she was frustrated about some things, that things weren't happening as quickly as she wanted. She really wanted this business to replace her 9 to 5, her daytime job. And her upline said, well, I think you need to look at what you think is honestly possible, because if you're not getting it, you don't believe in it enough. You aren't there. And Stacy said she got really upset, got really mad, went home and was like, how dare she think that I don't honestly want this? How dare she think? And then she stopped for a moment. She went, but what if she's right? What if I really don't have the belief? So she took the time to really look at her beliefs. And so some of the things that we address in the area of beliefs around business is, first of all, what do you believe about yourself as a business person? So in the chat, I want you to type in what you believe about yourself as a business person. What are the beliefs that come up, the thoughts that come up when you think of yourself as a business person? They can be positive, they can be negative. Tell me everything. Share it all. What do you believe about yourself as a business person? Giving you guys time to type. Someone says, I want to believe I can be successful. The power in that statement is the I want, and that's what's holding you back. I want to believe. What if you just believed that you can be successful? Believe, and you also believe that you'll do this just part-time. Somebody says they are insecure as a business person. Right. So I highly recommend, for those of you who are feeling insecure and not as confident in yourself, my podcast episode that just came out this week with Michelle Nedelec, you need to go listen to that, because she specifically addresses insecurity. She specifically addresses confidence and competence in your business and how to achieve that practically overnight. It's her method is very powerful. We literally did it on the podcast and it was really, really good. Somebody else says, I care about people and helping them. Good. Somebody says, I want to do it full time, but don't believe I can. Well, let me tell you something. I am trained in something called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And one of the major tenets in NLP is that if anybody can do it, or if one person can do it, anybody can do it, right? If one person can do something, anybody can do it. And the story behind that, a great thing that shows the truth of this is for many, 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 many years, in fact, hundreds and thousands of years, nobody believed that the human body, that humans could run the mile in less than 4 minutes. And then in 1954, a British man named Roger Bannister did it. Do you know how long it was until shortly thereafter somebody broke his record? 2 weeks. And then a week after that, someone broke that record. And then a week after that, someone else broke. Like it was all of a sudden like, oh, someone did it, so we can do it. Okay. And it happened, right? So one of the things that I think is absolutely awesome about direct sales, the business model in direct sales, is that you see people who are doing amazing, wonderful things. But what holds us back is the belief that that can't be us. We see people who are doing thousands of dollars in sales every week, who are doing thousands of dollars doing sales every month. They're making amazing commission and they're getting themselves out of debt and they're moving their families forward. And we look at them and go, I want that. But because you don't believe it's possible, you don't do the things that it would take to achieve it. Now, I bet if you ask those people who are doing that, if they feel 100% confident and competent all the time, they'd probably tell you no, they don't feel that way all the time. But here's the thing, they do feel that way most of the time. So if you can first begin with addressing what you believe is possible for yourself, if it is possible for one other person to do it, and we know in direct sales, there are thousands of people who are changing their family's future by working their business because they believe that they can. They believe in themselves. They believe in the product. They believe in the company, and they believe in their team to do the same thing. They have 100% to their core belief in their ability and the ability of those around them to do the same. And that's why it's sometimes hard to be a leader, because we see it when other people can't see it in themselves. And it's heartbreaking. The next thing you want to really begin to examine, and I highly recommend you journal around these things. Sit down and do some writing. And I don't mean like sit for hours and write for hours, right? Spend 10 minutes writing what you believe about yourself as a business person, and then take those things and flip them, except for the positive things. I care about people. We'll continue to care about people, right? But what do you believe about yourself as a business person? What do you believe about your business? What do you believe about your business? So somebody already addressed it by saying, I want to do it full time, but I don't believe I can, right? That's the belief around that's a belief around the business as well. And what do you believe about your product? I think that one is actually the easiest one, because if we didn't truly believe in our product, we wouldn't have started the business, right? But the one thing that I find is a common factor amongst many of my clients when they first start with me is that they do believe in their product, but many of them feel it's possibly overpriced. They don't believe in the full value of that product and the changes it's going to make. And is it worth the money that people would pay to have that product in their life? Somebody asks, how do you change your belief in yourself? That is something that takes time, and with it starts with understanding what you do believe about yourself, right? That and for many of us, we know what we believe about ourselves because that negative voice that talks to us all the time, that is louder than the positive voice, because the positive voice, unfortunately in many people, is very quiet and kind of a whisper, instead of the powerful negative voice that says you can't do that. That negative voice that says you won't do that. You don't, why you, right? All those negative, horrible things that we say to ourselves that we would never in a million years say to somebody else. So changing belief in yourself starts with understanding that that's what that is, right? Understanding that negative self-talk and addressing it as soon as it happens, challenging it. And so when you hear that voice in your head, and let me tell you, it's not a voice that you are saying to you. Someone else put that voice in your head at some point. Someone else said that thing to you, or said something similar to that thing to you, and put that thought in your head. Because look at kids. Kids believe in themselves until adults tell them not to, or until other kids tell them not to. Right? So you know exactly who, right? We all do. We know exactly who put that voice in our head, right? For me, it was someone I dated back in college. And when I left him at 21 and a half years old, I was completely torn down and did not believe in who I was, that I was ever going to find love, that I was ever going to be a mother, because I was too stupid, too ugly. That's what he did to me, right? And that's what I fought back against for years. And there are still some times when I have that voice that he put in my head pop up. And it's been 20 years. And it sometimes pops back up. But what I've learned to do is challenge it each and every time it pops up and go, oh, yeah, if that's true, then why is it that? Right? I challenge it each and every time. And it also starts with, so once you address what that negative thought is telling you, right? You challenge it each and every time it comes up. You cannot allow those negative thoughts to go unchallenged ever. As soon as it happens, as soon as you think it, you immediately go, oh, yeah? If that's true, and then give yourself a reason why it's not true. Pull something from your life that proves that that is not the case. And then it also, another way to help make that change faster, are affirmations. That thing that so many people, well, I shouldn't say so many people, that used to get made fun of. You remember that Stuart Smalley Saturday Night Live sketch that was, I'm good enough and I'm smart enough, and by golly, people are going to love me, right? Those affirmations really work, right? And I'm someone who, I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. I'm someone who can't imagine myself doing that. But what does work for me are those positive songs, that power playlist, listening to songs and singing along with them, because then my brain is hearing my voice say these things to me, right? You do affirmations, you say them, but don't believe all of them, but keep saying them, hoping that you'll believe them one day. Yeah. It takes time, right? but it's not just the affirmations, it's the consistency with which you do it, but also challenging the negative self-talk, right? Because negative is 4 times more powerful than positive, right? But for me, listening to those powerful songs like Me Too by Meghan Trainor, by I Love Myself by Meghan Trainor. Yeah, I'll share some of the other songs that are on my power playlist at the end of this if you guys remind me. So make note at the end of this, tell Jenny to share some additional songs. But How Bad Do You Want It by Tim McGraw. Those kinds of songs that get me thinking about those things. Champion by Carrie Underwood. That get me saying, thinking, singing positive things to myself. And I'm oftentimes listening to that power playlist while I'm getting ready in front of the mirror in the morning, while I'm, out of the shower, doing, putting my curl cream in my hair, putting on my makeup, which I'm not wearing as much makeup as I used to, but I do still do my hair and put on my deodorant every day and brush my teeth. And I'm singing those songs to myself every single day, listening to those, so that I'm hearing more of that than I am of any of those negative thoughts that were put in my head 20 years ago. So believing about yourself as a business person, what do you believe, excuse me, about your business, and what do you believe about your product? Do you believe in the value of your product? So now we're going to move into the desire piece. So what do you want for your business? Here's the thing. So many of us are so scared because of that negative voice that's been talking to us. We're scared to say what we actually want because we're afraid that that negative voice is going to tell us we can't have it. Right? So what do you want for your business? The next piece of this. Now, what do you really want for your business? Because whatever you just wrote down, there's something more that you want for your business that you're scared to say out loud. What more do you want from your business? What do you really, really, really want? Write it down. Put it out there. Because as long as it stays a secret, I can virtually guarantee you it will never happen. So if you feel brave enough, and you don't have to put this out in front of everybody, you can send a message just to a panelist. But if you really, really want a chance at getting what you want, you'll type it out and address it to all panelists and attendees. What do you really want for your business? Oh, girl. I know that feeling. Yeah. I know what you mean. Somebody says, money, recruits, and freedom. Somebody says, I really, really want to be able to replace my day job with my business. Yeah. I cannot tell you the number of people I work with that's their dream. They are ready to have their business replace their day job, right? Woo, that got big real quick. I don't want that. So happy are those who dream dreams and are ready to pay the price to make them come true, right? Let's see. She helped so many people. Yeah, helping people, right? I really want to do this full time, financial freedom and retirement. Yeah, right? So it all starts with really knowing what you want and putting it out there. So now's the time to manifest and monetize this, right? Your business. So believing in yourself, knowing what you really want, right? Believing in your business and the possibilities. You know it's possible because there are people in your company who are doing it. So if they can do it, I know you can do it. It is possible. Because if somebody else is doing that means anybody can do it. That is a tenet of NLP, which is a psychological thing. Okay. So, first step of the manifestation and monetizing in your business is to set big goals. Set big goals. And don't just keep them in your head. You've got to write them down. Did you know that only, and this makes me so sad, 84% of people never set goals for themselves? 84% of people in life are just going with the flow. They never they never set a goal for themselves. They let life take them where they want to go. They are not putting out there what they really want and taking action towards it. They don't set goals. Now, out of the 16% of people in the world who do set goals, and this is a Harvard business study that I read. The 16% of people who do set goals, did you know only 3% ever write them down? Of the 3% of people who write their goals down, 47% achieve them. So just by writing down your goals, you have almost 50% chance of achieving it. You want to know how you increase it? By telling people. You increase your chance from 47 to 76%. When you share your goals with others, you increase the written goals. You increase the chances of achieving them by 70 up to 76%. It is mind-blowing what doing that does. Pam says, I've started writing my goals down and reading them every day. We share our goals every month with our team members. Love it. Good. That's the great way to do that. Oh, Pam, you raised your hand. You want to talk? Go right ahead. You can unmute yourself, Pam. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I just had another question about the goals.
Sure.
I have been told two different things. One, don't make your goals so high that you're not going to achieve it, which I kind of do. I tend to make smaller goals because then hopefully I make them. But then again, I've heard set your goals really high because you never know what you could do. So which is better, high goals that seem impossible or smaller goals?
Both.
Okay.
Because in order to reach the big goals, what is it going to take? It's going to take achieving all those smaller goals along the way, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So yeah, it's really and honestly setting a big goal for your business, right? Putting some sort of deadline on it that seems realistic, right? So I'm going to do $1 million in my business in the next month. Unless you're already doing 950,000 in your business. Yeah, no, not going to happen, right? But to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to become a $100,000 salesperson, meaning I'm going to sell $100,000 of my product this year, right? And knowing how much commission you personally make off of what you do, right? So then you break that down, taking $100,000 and breaking it down. And I think that's the next thing on the slide, if I remember correctly. Yeah, have benchmarks, which are just basically little mini goals, right? So I'm going to pull open my calculator here. 100,000 in a year divided by 12 months would be 8,000 in sales every month, right? Divided by 4 weeks, 2,000 in sales every week, right? Now I'm guessing if you're here, you're probably not quite there yet, right? So taking that and going, okay, knowing what I'm currently doing in sales every single week, all right, and taking that $2,000 per week, divide it by 5 days or maybe 6 days, but I'm going to say 5. That means you sell $416 worth of product every single day in order to be a $100,000 salesperson. Okay. So what you do is you work yourself up to that. Because if you know that right now you're selling an average of maybe $20 a day, move it up to $40 a day, right? What would it take to become a $40 per day salesperson? Double what you're doing if it's something small like that. What would it take to do that, right? So have those benchmarks with deadlines, those smaller goals that lead you to the big goal over time, right? So my goal, have a positive impact on the lives, businesses, and families of 100,000 direct sales moms. Well, guess what? I'm not going to have that kind of impact this year yet. But each and every time I teach one of these classes, each and every time I work with one of my clients who has a downline, and they are then making an impact on their lives that came from their work with me, every time, right? Each time I put out great content on social media that people follow, like, comment on, and share, means that it's begun to make a positive impact on people, right? Create your action plan. So once you set that big goal we talked about, you broke it down into littler goals or benchmarks that have deadlines, because let me tell you, a goal without a deadline is a dream. And how often do dreams happen, right? Goals get achieved all the time. Sometimes not by the deadline, but just because you didn't make it by deadline doesn't mean you failed. It just means we need to work on deadline setting. That's all. Because if you set a goal to be selling $416 of product every day in order to be a $100,000 salesperson in a year, if you got to the point where you were selling $200 a day, which means you'd be selling $50,000 in the year, would you be okay with that? Abso-freaking-lutely. So knowing that you've got that goal and creating the action plan. How am I going to achieve that? What kind of activity leads to that amount of sales, right? And work your way up to it. It doesn't mean you have to go from 0 per day to 416 per day overnight. It's a process. This business is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And then you follow the action plan. So once you create the action plan, once you know exactly the type of behaviors that you're going to do on a daily and or weekly basis, you follow the action plan. You do it. Rinse, repeat. There's a reason why that is on a shampoo bottle. Rinse and repeat. Do it again, right? Check the results and tweak the plan. So if you find that, posting 5 times on social media is not making that big of a difference, you can drop to 3 and save yourself a little bit of time. Okay, great. Do that and make a phone call to a client instead. Check the results, tweak the plan. Beliefs around discipline. So this is the second piece. The second key to direct sales success is discipline. All right. Many people believe discipline is painful, and they believe discipline is boring. And we literally just talked about this right here in the create the action plan, follow the action plan, right? Do it over and over and over and over and over again, because whatever it is that you're doing, if it works, don't stop doing it, right? The only time that we talk about insanity being doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is because we're not getting the results we want, right? So you got to change what you're doing. But if what you're doing works, don't change it, right? So many of us believe that discipline has to be painful. Many of us believe discipline is boring. Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Guess what? It's not boring for the people who are participating. Back when I was teaching, I worked at a field trip destination, and I literally did the same thing twice a day, every day for months in a row. And one of the things I used to teach the people who work there as my colleagues and coworkers, they weren't technically my employees, but I was the more senior full-time person there, was you can't ever treat this simulation as if it's the 700th time you've done it. Each time you do it, you've got to act like it's the first time you've ever done it, because guess what? It's the first time the people who are in the room have ever done it. It's about creating the experience for them. Another thing that we believe around discipline is that it's only about negative consequences, which is 100% not true. Think about people who are disciplined to go to the gym 3 times a week. What are their consequences? Well, they get results, right? Discipline is about choosing to do something that becomes a habit. Discipline is actually really and truly freeing when you think of it as a system that is easy to follow. And discipline is getting the work done early enough to enjoy the rewards. If you wait to do the work at the end of the day, you're too tired to do it. Why do you think they recommend that you work out in the morning and not at night? Because you're too tired. Jim Rohn is one of my favorite motivational speakers. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. People who are disciplined, because if you look at what you believe about yourself and if you look at the people who you emulate in your company, what is one of the big differences between you and that person? Probably a level of discipline. So I want to tell you another story. So when I was in my business, it was, spring of late winter, early spring of 2014. And my mentor got us together and we did a vision board workshop. Okay. And I remember creating my vision board, and I did mine on a cork board because I believed in myself to know that I was going to achieve these things. And so what I wanted to be able to do is, as I achieve things, pull them off and go put them on my a different board that would show all the things I had accomplished. So these are the things I want to do. These are the things that I have done. And a full 1/4 of my cork board was a picture of the Eiffel Tower. That was one of the biggest goals that I had in my life that I wanted to achieve so badly I could practically taste it. So I had put this on my vision board, and my mentor had her assistant take pictures of all of our vision boards before we took them home. And it was really interesting because just a few weeks later, when we went to our conference, they announced Paris was the incentive trip. Now, I can tell you, I was sitting at a table with my team members who had, come to conference with me. And I remember they announced it. We all stood up and screamed, just like it's an Oprah show. And I immediately sat back down and just started bawling. And I remember my entire team was just like, what happened? Are you, it's like, what's going on? Are you okay? And in that moment, I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to Paris. These are tears of joy. That vision board thing, remember my vision board that you guys see every time you come to my house for training? It's about to happen. And what I did in that moment, I went back to my room. Well, the team, because they always announced it the like right before we all left the room. So we were all too buzzed to sleep. So we all went back to our room. My team started getting ready for bed. And I could not fall asleep. So I grabbed my notebook and I went out into the lobby of the hotel. For those of you who are with Park Lane Jewelry, this was the Rosemont Hyatt. And I remember sitting in the lobby of the hotel at 1:30 in the morning, bunch of other Park Laners out there drinking, party and whatever. And I'm sitting there with my notebook planning how I was going to earn Paris. What was I willing to do? And it started with visualizing every single day. So every morning before my feet touch the floor, I spent 2 minutes visualizing myself on a plane, landing at Charles de Gaulle Airport, stepping off of the airplane, smelling the airport smells, hearing the sounds of the airport, walking out of the airport, getting on a charter bus, and then driving through the streets of Paris to my hotel. Walking through the streets of Paris, smelling coffee and fresh croissants, hearing people speak French around me, sitting and eating French food, all those things, complete immersion visualization every single day. And I did it every single day, visualized every single day. And then every day, because I had that visualization, the nice thing is your brain doesn't know the difference between visualizations and reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a visualization and reality. And so I did daily visualizations. I had a daily action plan every single day of the week, 6 days out of the week, 1 day to rest. But 6 days out of the week, I knew exactly what I was going to be doing, talking to as many people as possible, telling them what I was working towards earning. And they had 3 ways that they could help me if they were interested. And that was it. And I did it and I followed through. And so here's a picture of me in Paris in March of 2015. I made it. I did it. When it comes to the discipline, it becomes so much easier to do the action if you know the outcome. This goes back to belief. Daily visualization tricks your brain into believing it's true. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, so maybe I'm going to use the example that a couple of you said, that you want to replace your job with your business. So what is the number on the check? What is the number on your direct deposit statement that you need to see weekly and or monthly in order to achieve that goal? So if you're making $35,000 a year, $50,000 a year, whatever that number is, break it down. What is the commission that you want to make to replace that? The reason visualization works is because when your brain believes it's true, doing anything less than what is on your action plan feels worse than actually doing what's on the plan. If you don't do it, you have something called cognitive dissonance, and it doesn't feel good. Because your brain goes, but if you don't do that, you're not going to get the thing you want. Because your brain believes that that's going to happen when you do daily visualizations. When it comes to sales, so this is the third key. Now, keep in mind, I already covered this in week 1, right? But we're going to go over this in terms of the beliefs, desires, manifestation, and monetization of sales. There's a belief factor, a fear of sales. Many of us fear being that person. We talked about that in week 1, right? But that fear comes from a lack of knowledge. You don't understand the sales process. You don't know what to do, or maybe you do know what to do, but you don't know what to say, right? It's a lack of knowledge. It comes back to belief in yourself, belief in your product, belief in your company, belief in the opportunity that you have. Because remember, the opportunity conversation is a sales conversation, which if you're not selling product, of course, you're not selling the opportunity, right? So knowing those beliefs and addressing each one of them is how you begin to make changes. Getting over your fear, learning as much as you possibly can. Let me tell you, one of the reasons why I became a great salesperson is because I spent time studying sales. I went to as many training meetings as I could with my upline. I listened to as many other great salespeople in my company and in other companies as I could get my hands on. I would listen to all of them. I would read the books, watch the YouTubes. YouTube's amazing, by the way. Anything you want to learn how to do, you can find it on YouTube. Just type in what you want to learn to do and put in tutorial. You can literally learn to do anything on YouTube. The desire for sales comes with having sales goals, and you've got to be specific. Those SMART goals you hear about all the time, they work for a reason, because when you have specific goals, you have something to reach towards. When it's a nebulous, well, I want to sell more. Well, $1 more is more. How much more? What are your annual goals? What goal do you want to hit this year? We are already 8.5 months. Well, sorry, 7.5 months in, because we're in August, the 8th month. We're 7.5 months in. Where are you so far this year? What can you achieve between now and December 31st? Make that your annual goal. Break that down into monthly sales, weekly sales, daily sales. And again, don't divide by 7, divide by 5 or 6. Give yourself some time off. Because burnout is not a pretty thing. I'm just saying. But the more you learn, the more you earn. So I'm glad you guys are here, because it's going to make achieving those goals so much easier, because you've already started down the path of learning more to earn more. Again, in order to manifest and monetize, you start by visualizing your sales back office at the end of the year. So on December 31st, when you look at your online office, your back office, what number do you want to see? What number do you want to see at the end of every month? What number do you want to see at the end of every week? What number do you want to see at the end of every day? You work your goals backwards. You start with the big, work your way to the small. So Pam, that was a great question about people say set big goals. People say set little goals. Guess what? You do both. Let's see, 160 in sales a day to replace the full-time job. If you sold $160 in product every day, there you go. Based on the business you do, that's a couple of toys. Or let's see, calculator. Let's see. Divided by, I think coochie's what, $24? Sell 6 coochies a day. 6 coochies a day. And if you sell a couple of toys, you're good, right? That's awesome to know. See, when you look at that, you go, oh, that's so doable, right? Many times we think those goals are completely unattainable, right? So now once you know 160 in sales a day, so now you take that and break it down into what kind of activity leads to $160 in sales a day. Now keep in mind that's an average. So if you have a party where you do $1,600 in sales, guess what? You done 10 days worth of business. Whoop, whoop. Doesn't mean you don't work the other 9 days. Right? But keep in mind, it's an average. So you don't beat yourself up on a day when you've got 0 or you only sold 1 coochie, right? For those of you who are not with Pure Romance, you're probably squirming like crazy right now, or you're laughing your butt off, whatever. But it's really about understanding how much in product, what's your most popular product that you can sell. Now, keep in mind, you increase your chances of replacing your day job when you have a team, because now they are reaching out, selling to people, recruiting people you would never in a million years meet yourself, just because there's 7 billion people on the face of this earth. And that leads us right into the mentoring piece. The belief behind mentoring is that one can only be mentored and that you cannot be mentoring at the same time, which is so not true, right? Again, remember last week when I talked about leadership, it's about being further down the path than the person who is behind you, right? Pam, you have a team. Whoop, whoop. So this mentoring thing is right on time here, girl. That's awesome. Imagine what we could do if we worked together all the time. Just saying. But here's the thing, the belief that many of us think of being mentored, but we don't always think of mentoring at the same time. You can do both. You can do both. Here's the thing, great leaders always have someone else that they're looking up to. It might be another great leader, right? My great leader, the person that I held up, that one of you mentioned in the chat earlier, my mentor has people that she looks up to. And so when I went, oh, well, she looks up to them, then duh, I'm going to go read their books and follow their YouTubes and follow their social media so that I'm getting their information all the time too. One can be mentored and be mentoring at the same time. Some people believe you can only have one mentor. Bullshit. I had many mentors. I still have many different mentors that I look up to, and people who actively care about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and who I'm helping and are working with me to help hold me accountable. I have a lot of mentors. At any given time, I generally have 2 or 3 coaches myself coaching me in different areas of life. Potential mentors, sometimes we put them so high up that we don't believe that we are worthy of their time. Again, bullshit. If someone who you look up to as a mentor ever intentionally says to you that you are not worth their time, they are not worthy of being your mentor. But oftentimes we place them so high up. I can't tell you the number of clients I have who tell me that they intentionally ask questions of multiple people in their business because they never want anybody to feel like they are bugging them, right? What you want to do is figure out who knows the particular information that you're looking for and talk to them, right? It's not about the number of questions. It's about asking the right questions of the right person at the right time. And great mentors, if they know that they're not the person to answer that question, will tell you that. And they'll introduce you to the person who can answer it properly. Some people believe you haven't achieved the big goal, so you aren't worthy of being a mentor. Again, you just have to be further down the path than the person that you're mentoring. You just have to be slightly further down the path in order to be a mentor. So you want to, in the world, when it comes to the desire around mentoring, seek mentors who have achieved what you want to achieve. So if you want to be a trip earner, you talk to trip earners about earning trips. If you want to replace your day job, you talk to people who replaced their day job. You want to be a car earner, you talk to people who earn the car. You want to walk the stage. Are you a recognition person? That was me. God, I loved hearing my name. Oh, right? Not because, oh, look at me. It was, look at how many people I helped in order to get my name called on stage, especially in the leadership position. It's about the leadership. It's not about, oh, look at me, hear my name. It's the meaning behind it that mattered. That's why I loved it and still love it today. You want to seek mentors who will nurture you. Again, if they ever intentionally make you feel, well, nobody makes you feel anything, but if they say something to you with the intention of trying to make you feel that you aren't worthy of their time, they're not worthy of you as a mentor. Seek to mentor those who want what you have, because keep in mind, what you're doing is if you're making $100 extra a month, there's someone out there who's going, oh my God, I could, like, $100 extra a month would be life-changing. So find those people. Manifest and monetize from mentoring. Who do you see as a possible mentor and coach? Manifest these people. If you don't know that person yet, visualize that person. What is he or she like? And do the same for who you might become a mentor to. So are you ready for the +1? I'm so sorry. I know I'm going long, but we ended up having a really good conversation in the belief section. So here's my gift to you before I tell you the +1. One of my mentors, Scott Conway, has agreed to give you what I paid $397 for 2 years ago. His Ohana Way has been a life-changing experience for me, and I know that it will be for you as well. So send me an email, put the subject line Ohana Way, and I will send you a private link so that you can go download not only the Ohana Way 2-page summary, but also the Ohana Way report, which is a longer, extended version of the Ohana Way. And you'll also have access to Scott. And he is one of my mentors. I still coach with him. Now I'm going to tell you the +1 and Ohana are connected. And the reason they're connected is because success is something that you attract by the person you become. If you currently are not successful, it's because you haven't attracted it, because you're not there yet. You're not there yet. And that's okay. It's knowing, what does that look like? Who do I need to become to be $100,000 a year salesperson, if that's your goal? Being Ohana attracts people to you. I can't tell you the number of times I had people say, well, of course you can do that. You're you. Well, I wasn't this version of me 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You guys heard that story, right? Being Ohana attracts the right people to you. They attract your ideal customers, your ideal hostesses, your ideal team members, your ideal mentors. When you are Ohana, which I know you guys are like, what the hell is Ohana? Just tell me. So what is it? Well, for any of you who ever saw Lilo and Stitch, the Disney movie from, God, 20 years ago, you probably have an idea of what Ohana is. Write it in the chat. What is Ohana? If you saw Lilo and Stitch 20 years ago, you probably remember. It's from that movie. And if you don't remember, I'll tell you. Ohana means family. Paula, yeah, good job. You said it right when I said it, right? Ohana means family, right? And family means, in the Hawaiian tradition of Ohana, family means no one is left behind or forgotten. Family are people that you choose or who choose you, and it's not blood-based. I have Ohana in my life who I am not blood related to, except for the fact that they are other human beings. But they are my Ohana. They are my family, despite the fact that we are not related by blood or marriage. So Ohana stands for 5 things. Oasis means to be a refreshing refuge. You are not judgmental. You are someone that when people come around you, they can let down their guard. They don't have to be protected around you because you protect them. Harmony, knowing that beauty comes from infinite diversity towards the goal of greatness. If we all looked exactly the same, if we all talked exactly the same, imagine a symphony with nothing but flutes or violins, right? Kind of a boring symphony. But when you've got all of those instruments and all of those musicians who are all playing the same song, it's beautiful. The same is true in life. Seeking infinite diversity towards the goal of greatness. Being assertive. Being assertive means moving forward on purpose with respect for others. If you remove any one of those 3 pieces, moving forward on purpose with respect for others, that is no longer assertiveness, that's aggressive. You've got to know which way is forward for you. On purpose, knowing the reason why you're moving in that direction, and with respect for others. That is assertiveness. Nobility in Ohana is being your highest and best self. Living in integrity. Do what you say you're going to do. Be polite. Be noble. And finally, the last A is aloha, which many people on the mainland, and I admit I'm one of them, believed that aloha means hello and goodbye, which is half true. What it actually means is a loving hello and a loving goodbye. Aloha is love. Aloha is love. And in the world of Ohana, love, aloha, is defined as I want the best for you. I want to be the best for you. And I want transcendent joy for you. That is true aloha. So don't forget, send me the email and I will send you the link. And I promise I won't let it go to my drafts folder like for some reason my article did. But you guys all have that now. I will send you a link to the Ohana Way so that you can learn more about being Ohana and how to do this and attract it into your life. Because when I first heard this description and definition of Ohana, I was like, oh my God, this is who I am. This is that thing that people have been going, oh, well, of course you can do it because it's you. Well, yeah, because I'm Ohana. And now I can teach others to do the same as well. I want to thank you guys again for being here. I know many of you have already left the review on my Facebook page, and I'm going to be going through and sending you a link today to get your complimentary coaching session. If you haven't gone in and left a review on my Facebook page for Level Up Coaching LLC or Level Up Coach LLC on Facebook, if you haven't done that yet, please go do that. I would like to offer you a complimentary coaching session for completing that review, and I will be going through today to send you guys that link. So I really, really, really have loved having this opportunity to work with you guys these last 3 weeks. I will be doing this again in October. And then for those of you who haven't signed up for the sponsor masterclass on September 12th, please, 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 please go do so now. I sent everybody who sent me the email. I sent you the link. I sent you the code. Yes, there were a couple of you who helped point out the fact that for some reason my code wasn't working. Fixed it. It's all better. So, and I also, in that email to each of you who signed up, included some wording. If there are other people that you know in direct sales who have issues with sponsoring and getting team members who actually work their business, invite them to come to the masterclass and they can attend at 50% off. I gave you a code, and actually this week and next week. So this past week, well, right now and this coming week, that sponsor masterclass is on sale. So instead of being $49, it's $35. So at $35, it's half price. So $17.50 for your friends to attend with you. It is very interactive. It is not a webinar. It is a Zoom conference call because we will be talking and working together. It is a true workshop such that by the end of the sponsor masterclass, you will know who you're looking for. You will know what to say to them, and you will know when to say it in order to bring on people who actually work their business. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Somebody says they're on a team retreat on the 12th. Oh, okay. So Pam, register anyway, because you have a code for free. I do record that masterclass for the people who attend, and you will get the workbook and the recording afterwards, so you can watch it and still participate in the masterclass. There is one activity that you won't be able to do without somebody else. So maybe have somebody else watch it with you, maybe one of your team members, and go through that process together. So I want to thank you all for being here, and bye-bye.